Because normally in the word antum, in the Quran we have antum. Now, normally the way we pronounce noon is to place our tongue where? The top of the mouth. So antum. But when I perform ikhfa, how is it pronounced? So how do we pronounce it? Say it.
The tongue is pronouncing ta.
You mean ta?
Yeah.
You mean ta? Not ta, ta. Yeah, okay, so the tongue is pronouncing ta and what?
And then the noon is coming from the nasal.
So the noon is pronounced with the nasality, with the tongue lowered. So I wouldn't say antum. What would I say? Antum. Antum. Yeah, with the nasality. So we call this rule what? The rule of what? Ikhfa. Very good. And how many letters fall into the categories of category of letters of ikhfa? It's 15. What are they? You're good. You're right. But let's start from the beginning of the alphabet. It's easy if you memorize from the beginning of the alphabet. Ta, good. Tha. You jump to the end of the alphabet. Ta, tha. Jim. You skip jim. Dal. Dhal. Za. Sin. Sheen. Sad. Dad. Ta. Dha. Fa. Qaf. And Kaf. These are 15 letters. You probably wrote in your notes as every other letter, but you should be able to recall what those letters are. Idgham, this is not one of the letters of iqlab. Okay, therefore I must do ikhfa here. That's not how it works. That's too long of a process. Right? So you have to familiarize yourself with all 15 letters at the back of your hand. If you can't, you won't perform ikhfa at its due time. There's too much of a lag there. You'd spend 10 minutes reading one line of the Quran, you'd get bored. So you have to reduce the friction by first and foremost committing to memory. We're not used to doing that in the West, but we do it for other things that are important, like sports scores and highlights. It's not that hard to do it for ikhfa, right? All right, and our last category of letters based on them following nun sakin or tanween is the category of which rule? Iqlab. Iqlab. What is iqlab? Noon sakin or tanween followed by ba. And no. Yeah. That rule is meme plus ba equals ikhfa. The one you were thinking. But yeah.
I have that written. I have noon plus.
Yeah, this is correct. You made that rule up yourself. So if you have a noon sakin followed by a ba, we get the rule of iqlab, which means to do what? Turn what into the meme? The ba?
No.
Yes, the noon, right? So instead of saying min ba'di, what would I say? Min ba'di.
The surah that Muhammad said you recite on the second rak'ah, that's kalla yawm badanna.
La, yes, very good. That's iqlab. Kalla la.
The manuscript that I use,
it shows a mini meme. It shows it in every script.
Okay.
Yeah, so iqlab, because most people don't know it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right? You just see the little meme. So most people don't know, that's why they write it. But in the original Mus'haf, that was never written. So, layun badanna is in Surah Al-Humazah. But when we recite the Quran, we don't say layun badanna. What do we say? Layun badanna. Now, there has to be ghunna associated with iqlab. That means you have to hold the sound for 2 harakas. Layun badanna. Layun badanna. Very good. All right. Now, going back to our book, we're going to speed through all the rest of the examples given for all of the rules, and anytime I hear something incorrect, inshallah, I will intervene. So we're going to start at the top of page 96 on the right side with the 2 examples of ya. Let's start with number 1. Okay, yeah, that example, everyone. يومًا يجعل. Alright, let's try the second one with kasra. Good. لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ. لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ. We have to have 2 harakas of ghunna. In other words, 2 harakas is hard to quantify into like seconds, because harakas don't last as long as a second. They're shorter than a second, but we can't even say they're half seconds because they're longer than half seconds. So in general, you see two harakas, that means, just a little bit over a second. You want to hold that sound. لِقَوْمِ يَعْقِلُونَ. Okay, the third one. Izin.
So gunna is when you, instead of the noon at the end, is the noon sound at the end of the tanween, you just use the letter afterward.
That's the rule of idgham. That's what we're doing. That's not gunna. Gunna is when you hold it for a second and you allow that sound to come out of your nose. So when we say, for example, wujuh, listen to this version. I'm gonna read it wrong. Wujuh yawma idhin. There's no what? So that's a lack of gunna. But we have to apply gunna because in idgham, if the letter of idgham is either ya, mim, noon, or waw, you see those on the right pane, then we have to apply gunna. But if it happens to fall not as ya, mim, noon, or waw, the next letter happens to be lam or ra, then we apply no nosality. For example, in la, how would I say that? I would say illa. Ashhadu an la, what would I say? Allah. I wouldn't say an la, I would say Allah. But in this case, we have to apply gunna. So we say wujuh yawma idhin. Wujuh yawma idhin. Alright, let's try line 2 quickly. خيرا يره or yarahu if you didn't stop. خيرا يره. Alright, let's try the next one. Not يومئذ. نزي. يومئذ يصدر. يومئذ يصدر. What surah is that from? It's a good question. You should be able to recall where these sounds are, not just memorize the surah as a whole block. If you're used to reading with looking at the Quran, you'd know instantly. Oh, good. So Surah Al-Zilzal. Right? So it's the end of Surah Al-Zilzal. Good. What's our next example? You're on the wrong line, I think. قلوب يومئذ. قلوب يومئذ. Okay, let's do line 2. Examples of noon following and noon. So a noon sakin or tanween followed by another noon. How do we read example 1? عذابا. Naba. No. Adab. Yes. Adaban nukra. Adaban nukra. You hear the hold? Adaban nukra. Alright, second example. Na'ima. وجوه يومئذ ناعمة. Where is that? Surah Al-Ghashiyah. Yes. No, not today. Maybe. I don't remember. Alright, our next example is باخي. باخع نفسك. باخع نفسك. Surah Al-Kahf. Alright, let's go to the next slide. Nuran. Not nahdi bihi. How do we pronounce that? Yes, good, because that's a mad, right? Nuran nahdi bihi. Nuran nahdi bihi. Alright, let's go to our next example. Not nukuri. Nukurin, or if you stop, nukura. Nukur.
I don't know stop it.
It turns into a sukoon.
Oh.
So how do we read it?
شيء
Nukur. Nukur. Shay'in nukur. Alright, our next example. Amilatun. Are we going to say nasiba? Why not nasiba? It's not a letter?
No, it's not.
Because noon has the quality of what? It doesn't have isti'ala, right? Noon? Yeah, it's a weak letter. It has the quality of istifal and infitah, which means you open your mouth, you keep your tongue lowered. That's how you get the sound. Right? So, amilatun na, not na. But why do some people say na? Why do some people say adabun nar?
They want to make it light?
Why are they trying to make the noon heavy?
No. Because the next one is heavy.
Yes, the
so
sod
your
is heavy.
mouth is lazy and doesn't want to.
Yeah, yes, exactly. It's wrong, of course it's wrong. So we have to say na, not no. Just like we say adaban now. We don't say? Yeah, but a lot of times you hear people say no, right? Yes, everyone says no in the Arabs, huh? Alright, amilatun nasiba. Alright, our third example is that of memes. Let's do this one real quick. What? Say that again. Your Hamza needs to be clear. Good, good. Don't make it muwajjala. Muajjala. Muajjala. Good. Let's do example 2. Now wadali. Wadil. There's a shad on the lam. وظل ممدود وظل ممدود وظل ممدود. Good. Yeah. Yes. Our third example. Nasibun. I hear nasibun from your side, Fahmi. Are we going to say nasibun? Nasibum mimma. So there's a lot of ghunna happening in this word. We do it on the first meme, and then we also do it on the second meme, because the second meme also has a shadda. So we say nasibum mimma. Good. All right, let's do our next line. قدا قدا قدرا مقدورا قدا. Because remember, qa is isti'ala. It's heavy. But dal is not. So you can't say qadda.
Yeah, it's qada.
Qada. But ra is heavy too because it has fath. Yeah, so qadara maqdura. Yes, I did.
That's
hard word, huh?
Yeah, it's because there's.
Because look, meme is light and then qaf is
heavy, light, heavy. Yeah, heavy, light, heavy, light, heavy, light.
Yes, because then dal is light and then ra is heavy again.
Like back to back.
Yes.
Oh, man,
so qadara. So I can't say maq. I can't say maq. Can I? I can't say maq.
Oh, you're right.
So I have to say? No, meme has infitah and istifal.
Oh,
yes, but qaf has to be heavy. Good.
Wow.
Yes. قدرا مقدورا. No, you're saying قضاء. Good. One more time. قدرا مقدورا. مقدورا. Very good. Our next one is? Now, a should not be heavy. Even though it's hard to say, we don't say a. Infitah, open your mouth. But do I say ada? Because ra, remember when it has fatha, it is heavy. So I say ra. Good. No. There's a ba. You're skipping the ba. Ali. Na'rabaw. There's a kasra under the ba. Na'yun. The ya has two kasras. Na'yum. Two kasras. Yes. عربي مبين. Ara is so many. These words are so common in the Quran, right? It's saying it's easy Arabic, clear Arabic. So if you claim to know Arabic or to be able to recite Arabic, then you have to ensure that you at least say عربي مبين properly. عربي. Okay, good. Let's do our next one. وأجل مسمى. وأجل مسمى.
So for the tanween on the lam, we have to وأجل. So you have to like essentially pronounce the haraka that's double.
No. The lam, you're talking about the lam, right? So look, the idea is of idgham is that you're essentially getting rid of the tanween.
Right.
So you're actually reading it as one dhamma, not as two. We're just connecting to the meme afterwards, but we're connecting with ghunna. So it's not وَأَجَلٌ مُسَمَّى. It's وَأَجَلٌ مُسَمَّى. All right. We have now the examples of wow in our last two lines. Let's go over both lines. Can you guys do them yourself? فرقا فرقانا ويكفر فرقانا ويكفر. Very good. Next one. ووالي. Not din. Good. ووالد وما ولد. ووالد وما ولد. All right, good. Next one.
So there is no need for shadda on wow?
Shadda on wow? There actually is. It's just they don't write it sometimes in the event of idgham. But you should know there is a shadda on that wow. Okay. Our next one. وزرع or زرع. وزرع ونخيل. وزرع ونخيل. Next line. Fahmi, can't hear you. بكرة وأصيلا. وسبحوا بكرة وأصيلا. That's why we hold that wow to ensure that the listener knows there's ghunna taking place. Our next one. وستو. It's not down. Not tayin. Tiun. وستيون. So pretend it has one kasra. Amir. غصة وعذابا وعذابا. غصة وعذابا. Next one. لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم. All right, so we've understood idgham pretty well. The only last thing remaining is that of lam and ra. We're going to go over two quick examples of the lam and the ra. The author gives many examples. We're just going to skip to the bottom box. You see the last box on page 97 of lam and ra, the one that starts with khayra. Okay, so how do we read example 1? خيرا لهم. No غنة. خيرا لهم خيرا لهم. Next one. خمر كسرة I mean خمر لذة لذة لذة. Remember the that. خمر لذة. Good. Our third one is way. Good. Waylul. We don't say waylun. Good. Second line. قو قولا لينا قولا لينا. Okay, what's next?
For lay, when you say lay, there should be gunna.
Why should there be gunna?
Because there is shadda.
Yeah, but there's no noon sakin here. Shadda on mim and noon gives gunna, nothing else. Shadda on mim and noon gives gunna, not shadda on ya. So we don't say layyin. No, we say layyina. Okay, our next word. Waylul likulli humaza. So we don't say humazatin lumaza. That would be wrong. Humazatil lumaza. Okay, our next one is fasalamun laka. Fasalamun laka. Next line. توابا رحيما. No ghunna. Should be clear. توابا رحيما. Next one. عيشة راضية. عيشة راضية. عيشة راضية. Our next one is common. غفور رحيم. غفور رحيم. And very quickly, our last line is Zabadar. We have to connect to the ra. Try connecting the dal to the ra. Zabadar. Zabadar Rabia. Okay. Our next one. Now, don't stretch the ra. Good. Thamaratir. Good. Remember though, when ra has a kasra, it's not heavy, and you're reciting it heavily. You're saying thamaratir riz. Don't say riz. Riz. Good. Thama ra, that has to be heavy. That ra, that first ra has to. Don't stretch it though. Just because it's heavy doesn't mean you say ra. Thamaratir rizqa. No, not riz. 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 Very good. So that ra, one of the tough letters of Arabic. And lastly is what? Dawwa, not dawwa. Dawwabur Rahim. Dawwabur Rahim. So in Arabic, when it comes to rolling the ra, it naturally has that quality, but you're required to abstain from doing it too much because you might accidentally introduce another ra. Then when you roll a ra, essentially you're adding more ra's. So we have to abstain from doing that.
And that's just in general?
With the ra, yes.
Yeah,
so there's a little bit of a roll. You can't say Dawwabur Rahim. We can't. Yeah, we have to say Dawwabur Rahim. But you prevent yourself from doing it more than once. If that makes sense.
Yeah, because I always put like the emphasis on the.
Yeah, you can't do that. So that's called the takrir. And Imam Jazari in the book that we've started, he says, وَأَخْفِي تَكْرِيرًا إِذَا تُشَدَّدُ. He says, أَخْفِي, hide, takrir, which means reading the ra again and again and again, إِذَا تُشَدَّدُ, whenever it has a shadda. Because that's what happens when ra has a shadda, that people tend to roll it. So that's an advanced lesson of Tajweed. But in general, if you understood his question is, should you roll the ra? Because in English, we don't roll the R. We just say R. In Arabic, it's ra. The tongue wiggles. The tongue vibrates. But you have to abstain from doing it too much when it has a shadda. And in this case, it does have a shadda. In all of these cases, it has a shadda. So we don't say Tawwabur Rahim. You heard that? It was too much. You heard that do. It was like a triple shot. You heard it? Tawwabur Rahim. No. Abstain from doing it more than like one roll of the ra. Good question, inshallah. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go to Surah Al-Fatiha, and we're going to now try and look for a couple of rules that we've studied thus far. So I've given you the Persian Mus'haf. It's printed in Medina if you're more comfortable with it. You probably use this Mus'haf, right? Okay. So before it is I test you, I'm going to tell you very quickly what it is we know about Surah Al-Fatiha. Skipping Bismillah. But from the ayah, Alhamdulillahi, the second ayah or the first ayah, depending on what school of thought you follow. Some scholars consider Bismillah to be the first ayah of Surah Al-Fatiha. Anyhow, we're starting from Alhamdu. Alhamdu. The first letter of this ayah is Hamza. It looks like an alif, but in reality, anytime an alif has a fatha, dhamma, or kasra, it's a Hamza, technically. Hamza has the quality of infitah. Hamza has the quality of istifal. What that means in basic terms is that whenever you pronounce it, you have to give it the ah sound, not the ah. So you can't say al. You can't say al. Al. Good. So we say al. Now lam is also a light letter. The only time that lam actually has the quality of being heavy is when? In the word Allah. Good. And that's if Allah, the alif in Allah has a fatha or dhamma, or the letter before it has a fatha or dhamma. Okay? That's why we say al. Yeah, because that's a kasra before, right? Good. So, but that means in practice we don't say al. We don't say al. We say al. We don't say al. We don't say al. We say al. Good. Now ha. Ha is a letter of istifal and infitah. Once again, that means we're not going to say ha. Ha. We don't say ha. We say ha. So we say al ham. Ham. Now this ham, mim, is a letter that you want to abstain from stretching too long because you might accidentally introduce gunna. It's naturally a letter that has nasality in it. So we can't say al-ham. Now you've done gunna. We have to abstain from doing the two harakas. We only give mim two harakas when? When it has what? It has a shadda on it. Good. So we say alhamdu. We can't say alhamdu. Alhamdu. No. Do. Lillahi. Lillahi. Just like I've explained before, the lam is not going to be recited heavily because there's the kasra before it. Ra. Ra here has a what? Fatha, which means it will be recited heavily. Right? Then we have ba with the shadda with the kasra, rabbil a. The ayn has the quality of what? Infitah and istifad. So we recite it how? A. Not a. We say a. Good. It has what on top of it? Fatha. What's after it?
Short
the alif saghira. So we have to stretch that for how long? 2 harakas. It's just a regular natural mad. The alif is a natural mad, right? So it has the alif saghira. Good. Alameen. Now alameen. The meme is followed by a ya. The ya has a sukoon. In practice, sukoon. It's used for mud. Now, interestingly enough, we have a sukoon followed by a what? But the noon has a what on it? No, it doesn't. Not if you're stopping. It has a sukoon. This is a special type of mud in Arabic. Okay? This is called al-mad al-arid lis-sukun. Al-mad al-arid lis-sukun. Arid means what in Arabic? Arid. Come on, Urdu speakers, you know Ariz. Arzi.
Okay. Temporary.
Temporary, good, mashallah. We just have to change the dad into a za, and everyone understands Arabic in Urdu. That's all we
It's a
have
very
to.
common word in Urdu.
We just have to change the pronunciation. Then all of Arabic makes sense to us. So al-arid means temporary. Lis-sukun. Why is it?
When you told it in Arabic, I didn't
Exactly.
even get a clue of it.
Lis-sukun. Lis-sukun means because of the sukun. Now, if you look at this word, we have a ya with the sukun, and then we have a noon which has also a sukun. It's temporarily sukuned. Doesn't have to have a sukun. I don't have to read it alameen. What else can I read it as? Alameen ar, right? Connecting to the next ayah. However, because there's a temporary sukun there at the end of an ayah, or because I'm stopping at that place, we actually have an extended mad. So you have the possibility of reciting this in one of three ways. One is that you don't extend it at all, where you recite it with the amount of mad that ya normally gets. How long does the ya normally get? Haraka. So I can say, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Alameen. But have you ever heard an imam recite like that? No. So they're extending it. That's not preferred. The preferable way, and I'm not getting advanced into technical terms, but for the sake of ease, I want you all to try pronouncing it for 2 seconds. Okay? Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Try it. No, it's 2 seconds.
So 4.
Yeah, perfect. Ya Rabbil Alameen. Alameen. Your breath? Huh?
Because the breath is...
Yeah, you have to take a deep breath, huh?
You can't have it. I know most chefs they do the.
They count, they just lift their fingers, right? I do it here, but yeah, you start here. You start here.
So
There's no sunnah method of counting harakat. The Prophet ﷺ never taught people to read for 2 harakas, 3 harakas. No, they didn't do that. They just knew. They just knew. That they knew that's how we're supposed to read. All of this is a later bid'ah, good bid'ah. Okay? None of this science existed in the time of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But as we've weakened, we require more technical.
And it was Ali radiallahu anhu.
He started the ulum of not tajweed, of nahu, of Arabic grammar.
Yeah, the grammar.
But all of these sciences, in a very short period of time, began to be formulated.
There's no grammar before that.
No, they just knew.
They just knew. Yes, they just
Crazy.
knew. All right, our next ayah starts with a hamza. All right, this is a hamza al-wasl, which means that if I connected from the previous ayah, I would not say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. No, I would not read that alif. I would say what? Alameen ar-Rah. Now, how do you know that that's a hamza al-wasl? How do you know that if you wanted to combine these 2 ayahs, you would skip that alif?
There's a little salt on top of that.
There's a little sad on top of it in your mushaf, right? So the differences between the mushafs is that in this mushaf, you will have a sad on top of it telling you this is Hamzatul Wasl.
That's what I'm...
The sad stands for Wasl. That's why there's a sad. It stands for Hamzatul Wasl. Because Wasl has a sad.
you skip it unless you're starting.
skip it.
Good. So normally you know that you're supposed to skip it. But you know that if you start the ayah from that point, what do you give it?
You give it a hamza. You give it a hamza.
Fatha. That's not true. See, that's not true. In this case, it's true. Anytime you have an alif lam, it's true that you give it a fatha. But there are other parts of the Quran that have a hamzatul wasl, that you give it a kasra.
And that's when the ayah starts, like in the beginning.
Yeah, sure.
Really?
Yeah. Like in Surah Yusuf, idhabu bi qamisi.
So then my question is, why implement the what is it called?
The hamzatul wasl.
Hamzatul wasl if because it's changing. So it changes based on what?
You don't know because you have to know Arabic grammar to know that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you knew Arabic grammar, this would be self-explanatory to you. But this is why the masahid that are made for non-Arabs, look at the difference here.
The script font.
So look, actually they don't do it in this. My mistake. There are other things in this mushaf they do, but that's how I want to.
But that's the one you recommend, right?
Yeah.
This lam is not Muslim.
Yeah, so that lam alif does mean not to stop. Okay?
This one's recommended as well.
Yes, it is. But because it's at the end of it's on top of an ayah mark, you're allowed to stop. If it's in the middle of an ayah, you're not allowed to stop. Good question. All right. Let's try ayah number 2. We have a hamza, so we start off with infitah. We're not saying all. We say what? Ah. But what's the next letter after ah?
Lam.
No, the lam is skipped though.
Yeah, ra.
Ra. And ra is recited heavily or lightly? Heavily. So don't let the hamza affect the ra. Don't let the ra affect the hamza. So don't say al-rahma, al-rah. No. Ah. Al-rah. Not al. Al-rah. Al-rah. Good. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Not ar-rah. Good. Ar-rah. Now let me explain. You know when you say ah, and your mouth is open like in the shape, think of the shape of your mouth. Ah. Now when you say ra, think of the shape of your mouth. Ra. When you say ra, your mouth has the more rounded shape. You have to transition from the shape to the shape very quickly in order to make the sound seamless. Al-rah. Al-rah. So what most people do is they say at and then they transition for the second ra of the shadda. Now you have to transition for the first ra. What does the first ra have? Let me explain. It is sukoon. Because when you have a letter with the shadda, in essence the first letter has a sukoon. So if ra has a sukoon and it's preceded by a fatha, will that ra be recited lightly or heavily? Yes. So if, remember in the rules of ra, we learned that if a ra has a sukoon, you recite it heavily or lightly, you look at the letter before it. So the letter before the first ra is a hamza with a fatha. So that, even the first ra has to be heavy. So we can't say ar-rah. That's wrong. No, because the first ra also has to be heavy. That's why we say ar-Rahmanir Rahim.
So in Nir-Rahim, the first ra should be like
Also should be
the same.
near. Yes,
Should
good.
be the same.
Yeah, it's the same idea. But in this case, because a ra has a shadda, it'll be heavy either way. It'll be heavy either way. Okay. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Very good. Our third ayah mim is infitah and it has the quality of istifat, so we pronounce it ah. So how do we say this? Maliki. Now when we say yo, we call this quality, we call the quality here lean. Lean in Arabic is whenever you have a waw or a ya with a sukoon and the letter before it has a fatha. Okay? So lean also has to be stretched for 2 harakas. Secondly, we can't say yo, we can't say yo, we have to say yo. Yo. Not yo. You see that?
The sukoon on the wow, right? Yo.
Yeah, so that's actually an error that people make very commonly, that they say yo. It's yo. Good. So that's actually because other languages have, like Urdu has an Arabic script, but when you have a waw with the sukoon, you have a fatha before it, they don't say yo, they say yom. Yom. We call that tasheel. It's a type of tasheel. It's like where you're taking it easy. But in reality, in Arabic, lean is not supposed to be like pronounced kind of easily. It's supposed to be pronounced precisely like this. Yo. Maliki yawmiddin. Try it. Yawmiddin.
So does this apply every time? Like the word yom
Yes.
is pronounced?
Yes. Yawmiddin.
So I have a question.
Yes.
So the Imam at my local masjid up north, he knows multiple.
Riwayat.
Right.
Yes.
So there's like seven, like a couple different ways to say this ayah.
So he says Maliki Yawmiddin is the other
They'll
one.
switch.
But no, not in this side. In this side, there's actually only one other way.
Okay.
But all of the other riwayat, they all recite Maliki Yawmiddin.
Maliki.
They all do. Hafs, which is what we recite, is the only riwayah where this is pronounced Maliki Yawmiddin.
That's nice.
So if you meant 7 other ways, you probably
He knows the 7.
Yeah, if he knows these
There's
7
two different
riwayat.
ways he says that.
Yeah, so the 2 ways are Maliki and Maliki. Good. So Maliki Yawmiddin. Let's try the next ayah. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين.
إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين.
نستعين. Very good. What's our next ayah? Wait, how do you know it's I thought it should be
You're right.
See that? The Hamzat al-Wasl.
Yeah,
You just know that it's a kasra.
It's not-
So what I was trying to tell you is that in this mushaf, when it's not a fatha, by default,
it gives it to
it
you.
writes the kasra itself. But in this mushaf, it does not. So in this mushaf, any hamzatul wasl that is not a fatha, it'll tell you what haraka it should have. All right. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Not nas. No, kasad is heavy. Not nos. Not nos. No. Not nas. So you're saying nas and you're saying nos. They're both incorrect. Ihdinas. Naus. Not nos. Your noon cannot. Naus. Good. So the noon has to be light, the sad has to be heavy. Don't affect the other. It's a very common mistake. Very common mistake. Ihdinas. Not nos. You're still saying nos. Record yourself and just listen to the noon. You'll hear no. Now. How do you read noon with the fatha? Okay. That's what I need to hear.
You're doing the nod versus nas thing.
Oh yeah, nos.
And you're still saying nos.
Ihdinas.
But now you're turning the sad into a scene.
Ihdinas.
Now you're turning the noon into no. Ihdinas. Naus. You're still saying no. No. Even both of you, you're reading the noon properly, but you're turning the sad into a scene. Ihdinas. Very good. You're reading it right. Better. Very good. You're still saying nos, like nos. Ihdinas. Yeah. So don't say na too hardly. Don't say nah. No, we don't want that sound. We just want Ihdinas. You're still saying the sound too much.
I know, this is wrong.
Okay. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. صراط المستقيم. Not صراط No, but the lam has to be light. Not طل. Not تل. No, not طل. Not تل. Ta is heavy, lam is light. طل. Not تل. طل. No, you're not saying it. You're saying طل. طل. Good. صراط المستقيم. So you're seeing how many light and heavy letters appear next to one another in the most basic of surah.
And Sheikh, what's interesting is it true with the Surah Al-Fatiha that it's supposed to needs to be recited correctly?
Every surah needs to be recited correctly, but Surah Al-Fatiha more than others,
Yeah.
because you're reciting it all the time, 17 times at least a day, right? اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. I'm gonna let you off the hook, but that doesn't mean that your Fatiha is perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم.
صراط الذين
أنعمت
عليهم
غير المغضوب. No, you're saying ma. You're saying ma. No, meme with the fatha is pronounced what? That's how it should sound. No, not mag. Because gha is not a light letter, it's a heavy letter. Now you're saying ma. Ma. Now you're saying mag. See, the ghain is turned light. Listen carefully. غير المغضوب. Mouth should round your mouth, right? Maghdubi. Maghdubi. No, there should not be any qalqala. You're bouncing it. So maghdubi. So the two extremes are mag and mo. So we gotta keep the ma, but we have to keep the not the gh. So mal. You have to make the transition that I was talking soon. Mal. Very good. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا. Now walad, because lam is light and lad is heavy. So how do we say it? Now walad, because lad should be heavy. Walad ضالين. Yeah, it should be at least 6. Yeah. Because this is the mad that I talked about earlier. It's called mad lazim when you have a shadda, or when you have a shadda after the mad letter. Right? وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ.
And the ya should have the same length of med as the...
Remember, the ya is the mad adil the sukun. There's a sukun and then it's followed by a sukun, right? So preferably you want to do that for at minimum 2 seconds. Alright? وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ. Yes, as for وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ, there's multiple ways to stretch this. 6 haraka minimum is good. Like 6 haraka is closer to 5 seconds than it is to 3. Right? Because harakat and seconds, they don't match up like that way. It's closer to 4, almost 5 seconds. وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ. Alright, inshallah. So tomorrow we're going to begin with Surah Al-Nas up until Surah Al-Fil. We're going to read the last 10 surahs of the Quran, and we're going to be critical. These surahs you're going to individually recite to a teacher as well during my absence. Inshallah, every single day he's going to go slowly. He's going to be very critical, so don't get upset at him, because that's my instructions to him. The goal is not to read the whole Quran. The goal is to recite a small portion of the Quran, but properly. Inshallah. May Allah grant us the fears.